Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Who is Who in America on Al Hikmat TV 24/7 online. We're very fortunate to have with us on today's show a very I don't have the right words for him because he's such a person with such a profound background, a person who is also a personal friend, a professional, a professor. He's a professor of law at Nova University here in South Florida. And he's no less a person than attorney Shahab Khan. There's so much we can say about him. So, because of legal technicalities, I will let him do the details of that aspect. So, welcome to the show. Stay tuned as we talk to attorney Shahab Khan about his background, his community services, his legal services, his profession, being a professor at Nova University in South Florida. So welcome to the show, brother attorney Shahab Khan.
Thank you, Shaikh Shafayat, and thank you for the invitation. Thank you to Al Hikmat for all of what you and Al Hikmat does for the community locally, throughout the United States and across the world. It's amazing. Your program has done so much outreach. And so it is my privilege and honor to be a part of your program today. And so I wanted to, and thank you for the incredible introduction.
Well, I always wanted to get you. Actually, we always wanted to get you on the show, but we know that you have been very busy in the past time. You're always very busy, but you know what? We thought that we gotta get you on this show to share your experience, your knowledge with the world, so that other people can benefit and learn a lot from what you have to say and what you have experienced in life. So definitely we want to know a little bit about your background before we get into how you got into Nova University, your position in Nova University, the things you do as a lawyer, and the whole 9 yards pertaining to that. But before we get into that, do I say Dr. Shahab Khan? Do I say attorney Shahab Khan? What do I say?
You can just call me Shahab, Sheikh. And so one of the very good points you raised there, in most countries abroad, lawyers are referred to as doctors. In the United States, lawyers obtain what's called a Juris Doctorate degree. It is a doctorate degree. It's a Doctor of Jurisprudence, or what we commonly refer to as the JD degree.
Mm-hmm.
That's the degree that allows you to take a bar and become a lawyer in the United States, or take a bar exam. But we're not commonly referred to as doctors in the United States.
Okay.
But that's a common reference, however, outside of the United States.
Because you earn a doctorate in law, technically.
Correct. Yes.
As a
no,
jurist.
It is a doctorate. It's a Juris Doctor. It's called Juris Doctorate or Doctor of Jurisprudence. And so there will be individuals from abroad who would refer to me as Dr. Khan. In fact, individuals at the university still refers to us as Dr. Khan and so forth. But mostly it's not the common reference in the United States to lawyers to call them doctors.
Good. So tell us, a little bit about your background. We want to hear about your background, where you're from, and what motivated you to get into law, etc.
Excellent, thank you. And so I am from Guyana. Most of our Caribbean viewers know Guyana very well. Latin American viewers know Guyana in South America, and obviously across the world now, a lot of people are recognizing Guyana because of the huge news about the oil find, right? So Guyana is theoretically now on the map. So I grew up in Guyana. I studied for a year at the University of Guyana. And so I completed most of my secondary education and high school and so forth there. And I decided that I wanted to come to the United States. I was always reading about just the incredible opportunities that the United States presented.
And you know
And I
what,
thought,
Attorney Shahab, I will interject here and there for the benefit of the viewers to make it a little more interactive and so they will follow what's going on. So when you say that you're from Guyana and with your background that you have here in America, I mean, a person like you could have been the president of Guyana right now.
that's very true. That's very true, Sheikh. And so sure, I would have had those opportunities, and the pathway if I wanted to be a lawyer would be to complete some education at the University of Guyana, and then I would be sent to the U Wooding Law School in Trinidad and Tobago to complete the remaining part. Then I would go back to the bar in Guyana and hopefully have that pathway there. Um,
Interesting. That is interesting. And as I said, I'm gonna be disturbing you just for the benefit of our audience and
that's
our
perfectly
viewers,
fine.
because you have so many interesting things that you would be saying. And that brings me to the next point. I know you're gonna be letting us know about your background and why you chose law, but I'm gonna cut you here and there because I want it to be real for our audience. Let them enjoy this thing. Now, tell me, do you know the president of Guyana?
I know of him. I haven't had the opportunity and the honor yet to meet him in person. I hope someday I will meet Dr. Irfan Ali, President Irfan Ali. He is very well respected in the Guyanese community, Caribbean community, and in the United States. I haven't had the chance to meet him. I did meet his Attorney General, Mr. Anil Nanlal, on a trip up to the United States, and a few other of the members in the government. But so I am looking forward to if I have that opportunity to meet with Dr. and President Irfan Ali.
Good. All right. So let's keep going on that story. So, what motivated you to come to America and to get involved in law?
So, one of the things at that young age, I was always intrigued, and some of our older viewers might recall in Guyana, there are many legal shows that you could watch on TV, and I always used to watch a show called Matlock. It was a criminal defense counsel, and I was so intrigued by the process and study of law and the legal system. And I sort of got familiar with how it was done in the United States. Many of us at that time in school in Guyana was following the O.J. Simpson trial, which was always broadcasted in Guyana. And that intrigued me as well. And so I thought about it would be very interesting. And in hindsight, you're suggesting perhaps I could have done this in Guyana as well, and then in the Caribbean. But I thought about what opportunities I could be being a lawyer in the United States to help, and that would give me a chance to help folks in my pathway who might want to take that same step. Be a lawyer in the United States and even be a lawyer in the Caribbean. We actually have many lawyers who have joint or dual law degrees. So for example, I have colleagues from Jamaica, from Trinidad, who has a Caribbean law degree or their legal education there, which is their law degree that allows them to practice there. Then they came to the United States and also obtained the law degree in the United States and can practice in the United States and back home in Trinidad or Jamaica or Guyana or one of these other areas that they're licensed to. And so that could have been a pathway, except that I got excited and thought about coming to the United States. And I made that trip in 1995, started out at Broward College here in South Florida, and had my associate degrees. And then I went on to FIU, Florida International University, where I had my bachelor's degree. And I'm not bragging about it, but I studied hard, and you have to. Particularly, you have to acclimate to a new environment, a new culture, new setting coming from the Caribbean. And I came up on my own, so you know, sort of relied on friends and family here for guidance and support and getting acclimated into this society. And so the idea was you had to study hard to be successful. And so I graduated top of my class in FIU, and that led me to Nova, where I went and got my law degree. And I graduated third in my law class in Nova in 2003. And so doing all of that, the idea or the plan was, and still is, and it is happening now, was to help, to give back, and to give an opportunity to others like me. And so right now at Nova Southeastern University, the name of our law school is the Shepherd Broad College of Law. I am a professor of law there, and also I'm the associate dean of our international law programs. And I am particularly and was particularly interested in that because that's how now I can help students from abroad to come and study and obtain a law degree in the US, even if they want to return back home to practice law, right? And so we have a lot of joint and dual degree programs, for example.
So when you say associate dean of for foreign students, is that what we say?
In an our international law programs, yes.
Associate dean for the international law program.
Correct.
So at the university right now, you concentrate basically, your students are basically international students or local students also?
So in terms of my position and my responsibilities as Associate Dean of the International Law Programs, I manage and I lead the efforts to bring students from abroad to study law in the United States at Nova. I also manage the efforts for any of our local students who would like to go abroad and study as well. So it goes both ways. So if a student would like to go study in Spain at the University of Barcelona, for example, where we have a partnership, or would like to do a study abroad, studying at Oxford, England in the summer, for example, those local students who are studying at our law school here can do that as well. And I'm the one that manages and make those arrangements and assist those students with those processes. Yes.
Well, that is really, really a blessing. We are very privileged to have someone like you on our program because you hold a very powerful position there at Nova University here in South Florida. Well, Attorney Shahab, actually, we have been talking for approximately 15 minutes now. Time just goes when things are interesting.
I understand.
So we got to go on a short break, and when we come back, we would love to hear about, what kind of services your department offers to international students, seeing that you guys use the word international students. If that's the legal terminology, we're going to use that terminology. But I love that because I know there are a lot of people outside there, a lot of people who look at this show worldwide, and there are a lot of parents and there are a lot of students who parents would love their students to become lawyers and students who would love to become lawyers, and they probably don't know how to get about doing it. They don't even know how to start and where to start from. So you will be of great help and great advice to our international audience and how they can come to the United States of America, how they can come to Nova University, Southeastern University here in Florida, and how they can get their immigration technicalities obtained and become a lawyer. So please, when we come back, we want to continue on that aspect. So for viewers out there, thank you for listening as usual. Thank you for viewing Who is Who in America on Al Hikmat TV 24/7 online. Stay tuned. When we come back, we will continue this conversation with attorney Shahab Khan, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Allah gives hikmat, wisdom, to whomsoever He wills. And whomsoever is given wisdom is certainly given a lot of good. Only the people of understanding will benefit from the reminder. Tune in to Al Hikmat TV for khutbahs, lectures, and Islamic reminders. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
In the Quran, in chapter 5, verse 67, Allah tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Ya ayyuhar Rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik, wa in lam taf'al, fama balagta risalatahu. Very deep. Allah tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to spread the message of the Quran. And he told the Prophet, and if you do not spread the message, you did not fulfill the mission of the messenger. So you and I are followers of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we can afford one Quran, help us join in distributing the Quran. So if you can't afford one Quran, do it. $3. 10 Quran, $30. 100 Quran, $300. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Who is Who in America on Al Hikmat TV 24/7. For those of you who have just tuned in, we have been talking to attorney Shahab Khan, a wonderful person. I've known him for many years, a good friend, a man who has an interesting background, and being the professor of law at Nova University, he has that kind of legal advice that he can share with people worldwide. So that brings us to the topic with attorney Shahab Khan on international student affairs. So welcome back to the show, attorney Shahab Khan.
Thank you, Shaikh Shafayat. And so one of the conversation that we started, and I would like to continue with, is our university and the law school, the NSG Shepherd Broad College of Law, where I'm the Associate Dean of the International Program, again, provides opportunities for students to come and study law here at our school. And one of the things that our students are also involved in, that I mentioned to Shaikh Shafayat earlier, is that we also engage and assist with different various organizations to provide pro bono work, which is really free legal work to individuals who can't afford it. And I'm involved with students in these organizations in relation to immigration. And so we would help individuals, for example, at no cost to them, in assisting to complete a U.S. citizenship application, for example, or to assist in completing a green card or permanent residence application. Additionally, we also help individuals, and particularly in this time, you have individuals who may not be sure of their immigration status, and so we help to give an understanding of what their rights are, in relation to law enforcement, if they were to be pulled over by law enforcement and so forth. Because even though a person may not have a green card or a U.S. citizenship, but are in the United States, they do have constitutional protections in the United States. So we would advise individuals of those as well at no cost to them. So there's a lot of public service that I enjoy doing, that we do to assist individuals through the school.
So just to interject again, if someone from a foreign country looking at this show now decides that they want to come here and study in the United States of America, they want to come to Nova University here in South Florida, but they don't know what to do. They love law. They want to get into law. How do we go about helping that
So,
person? What do we do? What that person has no clue. The person, yes, is a graduate, college, whatever, in law, or in the Caribbean, or in Pakistan, in India, in Arabia, in Africa. They are probably studying law at some level there, or they want to study law. What should they do, and how do they go about coming to the United States of America to study in Nova University? How could you help
well,
them, immigration wise, legal wise, education wise?
excellent questions there, Sheikh Shafayat. And so, um, there are multiple opportunities that we have created to study law at NSU, Nova Southeast University. And there, so for example, you mentioned let's say there's a student in Arabia,
Yeah.
right, that has a law degree already there in their home country. So they
Okay.
have a law degree. They want to come and obtain a law degree now in the US at our school. Typically, a full-time student in the US takes about 3 years to get the JD, the law degree. A part-time student will take about 4 years, and we offer both full-time and part-time legal studies for the JD degree. However, those individuals from abroad who already have a law degree can obtain their JD, their law degree, at our school in 2 years.
That is
We
interesting.
give, yes, we give them a full year of credit towards their law degree in the United States using their law degree from their home country. So we give them a full year of credit for the law degree that they've already completed. So they can fast track and complete their law degree in the United States and take the bar exam here in 2 years. For other students, let's assume a student wants to come from Trinidad and doesn't have a law degree, but already has a bachelor degree, their first degree, the 4 year degree. They can apply directly to the law school. And in both circumstances, let's assume the student is not a US resident or a US citizen, because we do have dual citizens. So let's assume the student is a citizen or national of Trinidad and Tobago, or Mexico, or Cuba. We will, after they're admitted into our law school, facilitate them getting the student visa to come to the United States and study at our school. We process their paperwork and give them everything that they would need to go to a US embassy or consulate in their home country to apply and obtain the student visa, come and study in the United States.
Oh, that
And
is
so we,
phenomenal. That is phenomenal, because that's the fear that a lot of people have. They don't know how to go about the whole procedure, and if they do and they mess up, then they're scared to do it again. But if you all do that, that is fantastic. That makes the whole mission easier.
yes, and and what I do as well is I would advise the students, here are the steps. I would actually, and we were talking as well about the pandemic. In the past, it was so difficult when you were trying to have meetings, and there's a blessing that came out of the pandemic here. This exact scenario. We can meet on Zoom internationally, locally, and we can have these meetings. So what I do is I would set up meetings with these students, discuss the steps, provide them the links to the application, and help them through that entire process. And once they're in the United States at our school studying, we continue to help them until they graduate and take that bar exam. And also, one of the other things that students are allowed when they come on a student visa, they can actually work if they get a job after completing certain time studying already in the United States. They can work to help offset some of the expenses. They can work to get experience. They can also work to see if that could provide a basis for them to continue to stay and work in the United States after they have graduated from law school in the United States. So there are tremendous opportunities that is offered. And so one of the things students can do is simply reach out to me by email. Am I able to put the email in the chat, Sheikh Shafayat?
Of course.
Okay, so I am going to put the email here, which is SHAHABUD at nova.edu. There we go. And so that's an easy way to get hold of me right away. An email. And then I will engage the conversation with the student to see where they are in their education and tell them the steps and give guidance of how and what they will need to do to study in the United States.
Well, just
including the costs,
just to get in,
housing,
just to get in again, things. Just to disturb again.
That's okay.
If someone didn't get that or they missed it and whatever they're looking at and didn't get your email, we could probably tell them, just give us a call here at Al Hikmat office. Give us a call at Al Hikmat office. Refer to this show with attorney Shahab Khan, and then we could always forward them your email address so they can get in contact with you. So I want to let our viewers out there worldwide know that if they have missed your email address in somewhere in the conversation, they can feel free to contact us at Al Hikmat TV, Al Hikmat office, and we will forward them your email address so they can get the necessary details to get in contact with you. So as you were saying about cost now, let's see about the cost.
So in terms of education in the United States, we know it's very expensive, and particularly graduate education. And in terms of the cost, when a student is applying for a visa, a student visa, which is commonly referred to as the F1 visa, F-1 visa, the government requires that they show a certain amount of money to maintain themselves in the United States while they're here studying. So it would depend on the program. It would depend on how long they will be in the United States in terms of cost. It would depend on their housing arrangements. It would depend on healthcare and all of those things that I would be able to assist with. Many students can adjust the cost, for example, if they have relatives in the United States and can live there with relatives to avoid having to pay cost for housing, for example. Yeah. Many students can live close to the campus and can avoid transportation costs or avoid having to purchasing a car, for example. So all of those I would be advising and discussing the students depending on what exactly and which program they want to participate in here at the law school. And our university also offers a lot of opportunities for undergraduate students. So students who are graduating from high school abroad, they can apply to complete their bachelor's, their 4-year degree, the undergraduate degree, in any aspect here at NSU, at Nova as well. And even to step out of the legal aspect for a second, we at Nova Southeastern University have 2 medical schools. We have the Doctor of Osteopathic Medical School, which is the DO program. We also now have the MD program. And so we are one of the only schools in the Southeast US that has both opportunities for a medical degree, the MD or the DO. And so we have a lot of students from abroad who participate as well in those programs. So in fact, our university has 18 separate colleges, from nursing, law, medicine, oceanographic, oceanography, which we have on the beach in Fort Lauderdale, you name it. And so business. And so there are tremendous opportunities. And we do have a very good population of students from abroad who are already studying in all of these programs.
And
right?
you're right. Nova is well known throughout the world for being top in law, in the law department, and that's why we are very fortunate to have you on the show, because you're in that law territory. You're the professor of law at Nova, and Nova is popular and known. You know, everyone you ask here about law, they said go to Nova University. That's where you get the best law degree. And I think you're blessed, you're chosen, and Allah
Thank
has
you.
blessed you to be in that position as the Associate Dean for International Students there at Nova University. Well, time has again gone with us or against us, however you want to put it. And we got to go on a short break, Attorney Shahab. And when we come back, I want to ask you a little bit with your experience, your expertise, as we would say, being an expert in the field of law, a professor of law. You don't only you have not only studied law, but you're a law professor. You are in the immigration department where you assist students, international students. I want to ask you a question when we come back that you can share with our viewers. If you offer legal advice and consultation on the side, because someone like you, it's very important to benefit from. So for our viewers out there, we have been talking to Attorney Shahab Khan, who is the professor of law at Nova University. He's also the Associate Dean for International Students at Nova University. We have benefited a lot from his conversation, so stay tuned. When we come back after the short break, we would like to continue this conversation with him a little more on how he can help people worldwide on law and immigration with his experience, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Allah gives hikmat, wisdom, to whomsoever He wills. And whomsoever is given wisdom is certainly given a lot of good. Only the people of understanding will benefit from the reminder. Tune in to Al-Hikmah TV for khutbahs, lectures, and Islamic reminders. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
In the Quran, in chapter 5, verse 67, Allah tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Ya ayyuhar Rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik, wa illam taf'al, fama balagta risalatahu. Very deep. Allah tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to spread the message of the Quran. And he told the Prophet, and if you do not spread the message, you did not fulfill the mission of the messenger. So you and I are followers of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we can afford one Quran, help us join in distributing the Quran. So if you can't afford one Quran, do it. $3. 10 Quran, $30. 100 Quran, $300.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Who is Who in America on Al-Hikmah TV 24/7 online. It is indeed a pleasure to have with us on today's show Attorney Shahab Khan. Welcome back to the show, Attorney.
Thank you, Shaikh Shafayat.
Good. And for our viewers out there, you know, Attorney Shahab Khan, what a wonderful person. I must say, we are blessed in the Muslim community to have someone like him in such a position at Nova University in South Florida, Nova University that is so well known worldwide for its law. And as Attorney Shahab said, they are in the medical field, and Allah has blessed him to be the Associate Dean for International Students. In addition to being a Professor of Law at Nova University, he has that blessings from Allah to be in that position. And I don't know if I should share this with the community, but I will do this without his legal permission. We also went to Umrah and performed the Umrah in the holy city of Mecca together, and Brother
Yes.
Shahab went together with us in Al Hikmat Umrah group to Mecca and Medina. So he's not just a person in the legal aspect of life, but he is very much into the Islamic aspect of life, and that's one of the blessings that we are fortunate to have him with us. So, Brother Attorney Shahab, with your experience, with your being a person of this kind of caliber, law, legal aspect, immigration experience in that department with Nova University, where you help international students, so you advise international students. Tell us, do you offer your services privately or part-time? I know when we talk to a lawyer, we got to be very specific about the terminology. So you got to tell me if it's privately, if it's part-time, if you offer consultation, people can consult you, they can get your advice. Tell us about that.
Yes, and so the university, and rightfully so, requires us to disclose if we are doing any type of legal representation and work outside of the university. And so there's a limit on how much time I can spend working on private matters outside of the university. But the short answer is yes. And most of the matters that I do privately outside of the university has been pro bono to help individuals, particularly relating to immigration matters. Who can't afford it? Who needs to know basic information? Who needs guidance? So I've been doing that on the side within the university's restrictions. And so yes, the answer is yes. So I do provide those consultations. Obviously, if it's a complicated matter, then I can guide that person to get the right and appropriate help as well. And so the short answer is yes.
Wow, that is interesting. So I'm gonna have to capitalize, well, not just me, but Al Hikmat. Al Hikmat, we have people from all over the world that contact us. In our field of dawah, we meet a lot of people. A lot of people meet us. A lot of people call us. And they always got this legal question, and especially in the immigration field, we are this, we're doing this. Certain technicalities, they do need advice. And you got a lot of people out there that give them, 40 different kind of advice, and the people are more confused. So if we have someone like you in your position with your authority, you're a man who teach law, you are experienced in immigration aspect for international students for the university, then that's the kind of experience and the kind of advice people want there. So, as I said, from an Al Hikmat point of view, do we have the green light from you? And I gotta put this public, yes, and now you can't go back on that, right? Do we have the green light from you that I know you have a limited amount of time, so you are the person who can use your discretion on this aspect, definitely, if you have the time. But as you rightly said, you can pass the cases on to other people if it goes beyond your time capacity. But do we have the green light that we can start recommending people to call you if they have immigration questions or legal questions? And as we said, you can refer them to the appropriate people, because you got so many students who are qualified lawyers out there, and people in all different legal fields. You can either recommend them to the right person, because Brother Shahab, Attorney Shahab, there are so many people who spend so many thousands of dollars with the wrong lawyers. So the lawyers, they know what they're doing, but they do it more for money. And then people are misled and they spend thousands and thousands of dollars, and they lose out. So if they can find someone like you who is so authentic because of your position at Nova University, remember, you're not just a lawyer down the street. You are not just a lawyer practicing down the street, as we would say. You are in a very professional, authentic position at the university, and you have that area of experience and expertise from a legal point of view with immigration and law, etc. So again, I want to repeat this for the third time on the show. Do we have the green light that we can send your email to someone who have these kind of questions, and they will say, well, they were recommended by Al Hikmat office? Is that okay?
Sure. Yes. And obviously, again, I would have to do that within what the university allows me to do in terms of how much time I can spend on these issues. And because it's through Al Hikmat, I would try to do it on a pro bono basis as much as I can. And if I can't, then obviously I would be glad to suggest, and we have an incredible amount of alumni from Nova Law School who are locally here and across the world. So maybe someone needs help. I might know an attorney from Nova who is practicing in the UK that can get guidance. I would be glad to assist in that way. Yes.
I really gonna pick that matter up, inshallah, because I think that's a very powerful service to the world, to people worldwide, especially coming from America, because America is like the hub of the world. That's subhanallah, from the legal, medical aspect right now, with so many people worldwide who pass through America, who love to come to America and get a degree in America. America is a hub when it comes to that right now. So
it is,
and definitely it will not jeopardize your time, because, as you said, you could refer them, and that will give a peace of mind. Sometimes people want to, I don't know, invest in property in America. They have a child or family, got some legal technicalities. They don't know. They get confused with the right advice. So listen, we're going to do that. We're going to get that done, inshallah. And I see that one of the major benefits on this show, coming from this show, actually, in having you on this show and getting that kind of advice and support for the world. And that's where Allah bless people like you, and that's the way you can give back to the community with an area that Allah has blessed you with. So mashallah. So we got about 5 minutes again to conclude the program. Tell us what else you would like to share for our viewers worldwide. Remember, we got viewers all over the world, and they definitely, we got people all over the East, the Far East, the Middle East who look at this show, and they would be, of course, interested in hearing whatever advice you can give. You were mentioning something from the criminal aspect. Could you share that with us?
Yes, I also teach criminal law and what we call criminal procedure. And really, criminal procedure is studying what our constitutional rights are in relation to criminal matters, right? So, for example, many of us in the United States are very familiar with the Fourth Amendment protections, right? Where, for example, law enforcement or the police, they can't search or seize you if they do it unreasonably. There has to be certain protections. For example, if someone don't have their proper immigration papers, for example, and they have been living in the United States, they still have rights. They still have rights in the United States. And so I know a lot of folks who might be scared or worried, but the United States Constitution provides so many protections, not only to U.S. citizens or residents, but others with different immigration status. And that's and those are some of the concepts we study or I teach in terms of how to exercise those rights in a criminal scenario, how to not waive them unknowingly and get into trouble, to know that you can get a lawyer and get assistance and all of those things. Another thing, sort of, in terms of including, there has been a stigma with how immigrants, for example, have been treated in the United States, and that has been growing, and it's very noticeable on the media, the news, and so forth. But even so, we have rights, and we are, the folks like myself, we try to educate fellow immigrants on what the protections are. And although there might be fear, really, you can still, as an immigrant, and we are a nation of immigrants here in the United States, you can still really live a very peaceful, happy, comfortable, and successful life. And it's managing and dealing with these things and getting the right information that makes all of that happen.
So if someone has, as you were saying about the criminal aspect, someone has a problem, criminal law is a very interesting thing. Someone can just accuse you and you can be branded as a criminal. So they can also call you. They can, they can email you, and you can refer them to a very authentic lawyer who can take their case. Someone who has been accused or innocently, you know what I'm talking about, under the line of criminal law. Someone has been accused for something they did not do, and they want some advice on how to go about it.
Sure, and we have, again, from NSU Law, just an incredible group of graduates who are practicing criminal law. And they practice both as prosecutors, and they are criminal defense counsel. Some of them are public defenders, and they do a great job. And I have taught so many of them. I would be glad to say, Mr. So-and-so has this issue. May I send him or her to you to discuss their issue? Could you assist? I would be glad to do that.
Wow, and you being their professor, they learned law from you. You were their professor of law, so it's only obvious these people are in very hierarchy positions nowadays. I know we didn't get to ask you this question, but how many years now have you been practicing law or teaching law?
I have been teaching since 2005, so about 16 years. I practiced law full-time for 2 years after graduation at a very big law firm here in Florida. And I missed the aspect of the inquiry and the education. And I enjoyed practice, but I missed the writing, the understanding, the questioning, the process of research, and really gaining that aspect of the legal profession. And so I started to think about, I could teach this. It might be some pathway that I take, and I could also help so many in that manner, right? And that's why I considered it. And I went back to NOVA in 2005, started out in various programs, and sort of worked my way up to where I am today. And it has been an incredible experience, and it's given me the opportunity to help and give back to the community.
Right, and as you said, with your background and your students would be in very prominent positions here in the United States of America, and international prominent positions in the United States of America and other countries, because most of the time lawyers are the people who get involved in politics and in all these different very professional territories, if I want to put it like that. You don't find too many
Yeah.
medical
Yeah.
doctors getting involved in politics, but lawyers are people who get involved in all area of politics in the world. So you would have these kind of students, and as you rightly said, you can definitely help people by recommending them to these people. And coming from you, their professor, it's only obvious they will do that line of service in appreciation to what you have done for them. Well, Attorney Shahab Khan, we have come to the end of the show, and the ball is all in your court. Whatever you would like to say to our audience, you take a couple seconds and share it with us as we conclude the show, inshallah.
Thank you, Shaikh Shafayat. And again, thank you to the Al Hikmah Network and Dawah Center for the incredible work that you and your staff and your organization is doing. It's an incredible outreach worldwide. I know there are millions that watches your show and learn from it. I know friends and family who would send me, listen to this show, it's very helpful. And I'm like, yes, I know Shaikh Shafayat, this is actually very helpful.
You
and
kidding?
They would think I didn't know of you and the program. So I know there's a lot out there. And so keep on doing what you're doing. And on my side, we live in, and that you mentioned, lawyers are a very important part of living. It's, I still believe it's one of the most noblest profession. And our job is to help people solve problems, right? That's what we're here for, to help solve problems. And many times, obviously legal problems, but also give other suggestions and advice and counsel. And so I would close with the opportunity that I've been given, that I'm very humbled and pleased that I can give back in any way I can within my profession and legal advice.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jazakallah, Attorney Shahab. And I need to tell the world that, alhamdulillah, you are a supporter of Al Hikmat. You have always supported Al Hikmat, and you have been a strong supporter of Al Hikmat. And it's nice to know that people send you our shows and ask you about it, and you are like, well, I am Al Hikmat. I'm a supporter of Al Hikmat. I know Al Hikmat. So thank you very much for that, and it's a blessing to have you as someone we know in the community that can be beneficial to the world, inshallah. And thank you again for taking the time to come on this show with your busy schedule. I know it's almost impractical to get you to come on the show, but you know what? Thank you very much. It will all be beneficial rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the good in this world and the good in the hereafter. So to our viewers out there, we are very fortunate to have had with us on today's show Attorney Shahab Khan, who is a professor of law at Nova University in South Florida and is also the Associate Dean for International Students. What a wonderful, what a educational, what a legal conversation we had today with Attorney Shahab. So always stay tuned to Al Hikmah TV. It's always a blessing. You can always learn from people like Attorney Shahab. Until then, we say Jazakallah and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.